Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a really important piece of legislation for working women in India, the Maternity Benefit Act. Now, this is more than just some dry policy. It's a critical framework designed to support mothers in the workplace, and we're about to break down exactly how it all works. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at what things were like before this law came along. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the protections it offers. After that, we'll walk through a practical guide on how you can actually claim these benefits. We'll also cover the big update it got in 2017. And finally, we'll zoom out and talk about why this whole thing is such a big deal. Okay, so to really get why this act is so significant, we need to hop in a time machine. Seriously. Before 1961, the situation for working women in India, particularly if they were expecting, was, well, it was pretty bleak. Incredibly vulnerable, actually. Just try to picture this for a second. You're at your job, you find out you're pregnant, and instead of getting support, you get a pink slip. You're fired. I mean, that was the harsh reality for so many women, especially in tough, labor-intensive jobs, like in the old textile mills. For them, getting pregnant often meant losing their job and their income. Just like that. There was absolutely zero job security. And that right there was the core problem, wasn't it? Without any kind of unified national law to protect them, millions of women were forced to make this completely impossible choice. Do I keep my job or do I start a family? It was obvious that something big had to change to protect their rights and their health. So, what was the answer to this huge challenge? Well, it came in 1961 with the Maternity Benefit Act. And let me tell you, this wasn't just some tiny tweak to the rules. No, this was a massive, foundational shift in labor law that created a real, solid set of protections for the very first time. And the headline benefit is this number right here, 26 weeks. That's the amount of fully paid maternity leave that's guaranteed for a woman's first 2 children. We're talking half a year of absolutely critical time, with full pay. That's a benefit that actually puts India among the more generous countries in the world on this. For a third child, it's 12 weeks. But the act is so much more than just the length of the leave. It's really a whole support system. It guarantees your job is safe, so you can't be fired. It gives you a medical bonus of 3,500 rupees if your company doesn't provide prenatal care. It even requires 2 paid nursing breaks a day. And for larger companies, a creche or daycare is mandatory. It also introduced a work-from-home option and, importantly, gives 12 weeks of leave to mothers who adopt or have a child through surrogacy. So, who gets to take advantage of all these benefits? Well, it all comes down to the 80-day rule. If you've worked for your employer for at least 80 days in the year right before your due date, you're eligible. And this covers both permanent and contract employees, which makes the protection really, really broad. Okay, so knowing your rights is one thing, but how do you actually access them? The whole process can seem a bit intimidating, so let's break it down into simple, practical steps you need to take. It's really just a straightforward 4-step plan. First, just double-check that you've hit that 80-day work requirement. Step 2, give your employer written notice with your leave dates. Third, you'll need to back that up with a medical certificate. And finally, just follow up to make sure it's all processed correctly. It's a simple path to getting what you're entitled to. The 1961 Act was absolutely revolutionary for its time, but the world and the way we work has changed a lot. So in 2017, the law got a massive upgrade to meet the needs of today's workforce. So you've got the original law back in 1961, which set the standard. And for over 50 years, that was pretty much the framework. The next huge leap forward didn't happen until 2017, with an amendment that was really designed for the 21st century, reflecting modern family structures and how we work now. And you can really see just how big that 2017 upgrade was when you put them side by side. Maternity leave more than doubled, from 12 weeks to 26. Creche facilities went from not being mentioned at all to being mandatory for bigger companies. Totally new ideas like working from home and adoption leave were brought in. And that medical bonus, it saw a huge jump to reflect all the years of inflation. All these details, the longer leave, the daycare facilities, they're not just random rules. They add up to something much, much bigger. So let's zoom out for a second and ask, why is this law so incredibly important for the country as a whole? At its very heart, this act is about fostering inclusive growth. It's about letting women balance their family and their career. See, it's not just about getting some time off. It's a powerful tool for economic security and for gender equality.
By making sure a woman's job and income are safe during this critical time, it helps stop what people call the leaky pipeline, where so many talented women end up leaving the workforce after having kids. And that is absolutely vital for growth that includes everyone.
The 2017 amendment was, without a doubt, a huge leap forward. But, the conversation doesn't stop there. Now people are starting to talk about things like better enforcement of the law we already have and bringing in new ideas like paternity leave to make the workplace even more fair for all parents. So it leaves us with this big question. What's the next giant leap for workforce equality in India going to look like?